blessed and stay healthy always. So let's begin with the chapter. Chapter number 1, Basics of Information Technology. Okay, so students, last time we have started with the topic concept of hardware and software, and that we had seen the concept related to hardware and software. Okay, and what is a software? That is a set of instructions given to the computer which is known as programs. Now, today we'll see the categories of the software. Categories. Of the software. Last time I had said you students that before learning with the types, we are going to study the categories, that is the open source software and the closed source software. Okay, now these are the two types of software, students, which is categorized as per the requirement, as per the utility. Okay, now number 1 is your open source software, and number 2 is your closed source software. Okay, this two we are going to learn today, inshallah. Open source software and closed source software. Now, what is an open source software, students? So the open source software refers to the software which releases code in public domain for anyone to. Okay, that means open source software are free to use. That means these are the programs or the software which is open for public utility. That means it can be shared, it can be modified, it can be altered, it can be distributed, it can be deleted as per the need of the end user. Okay, that is the user which or whoever wants to use it. Okay, so open source software which is free to use, for which we don't have to pay, we don't have to buy. Okay, it is freely available on the internet. Okay, and from the internet we can just have the access to these softwares. So open source software, what it refers to the software which release or releases code in public domain for anyone to use. Okay, that means, students, the source code. Okay, here the source code, whatever code is there, it can be copied, modified, distributed, deleted, altered. Okay, as per the requirement of the end user. So that's why it is called as the open source software. Okay, as the software is open to the public, student, the result is that it constantly updates, improves, and expands as more people can work on its improvement. Okay, so that means anybody can use it as per the need, and even the end user can have the same software, or he can modify it, he can alter it, or he can delete the codes. Just have the overview of that particular code, and then as per the requirement, he can do that. Okay. So here, what the source code? the source code can be copied modified or distributed by the users or the end user, that means the people those who want to use it, or and organizations. Organizations. Okay, students. So, what is the result of these students? The result is that it constantly updates, improves, okay, and expands as more people can work on its improvement. Okay, many states have, or we can say they are following the FOSS policy. FOSS policy. What? Many states they are following the FOSS policy. Okay, what is the FOSS policy, students? FOSS policy is that free open source software policy. Okay, the full form is what, students? Free open source software policy. Now here what, students? As many states are following or they have implemented this policy, it has enabled them to save some million of rupees each year, okay, in licensing cost. Why? Because as it is freely available on the internet, so there is no need to buy the license copy. Okay, the user or the organization can directly have the software, the coding, the program, okay, for their use, for their whatever requirement, and then they don't have to, and they, with the help of that, they can even modify it, okay, for their need, means as per their need, they can modify it, they can copy it, they can distribute it, okay, or they can have just the same copy, or they can join the same copy of the software, or we can say they can create the new from this software, or we can say there are so many things they can edit it, they can completely delete it, or they can completely accept it. Means as per the need, the organization, the user, they can have the access to the free open source software. Okay, so this policy has implemented in many of the they have been followed by many of the states in India as well. Okay, so that means there is no need to buy a license copy. So as it is free, that means you can save the money. That means the organizations, the big organization, even the government organization, they don't have to pay, they don't have to buy. Okay, so this has saved a lot of rupees, even in millions, like the Kerala state, okay, in India. Okay, the Kerala state, they have adopted this FOSS policy, okay, and they have saved around 300 crores rupees, okay, as a license fee for proprietary or closed source software. And proprietary means the license copy. So the which state? The Kerala. Kerala, they have what? Adopted. They have adopted the FOSS policy. Okay, and with the help of this, what? They have saved. Okay. Saved somewhat around 300 crore rupees as a license fee of the software. Okay, because they don't have to buy. Okay, it's free of cost. It is openly or freely available. Okay, because it is there on the public domain for anyone to use. Okay, students. So the code, whatever the software is releasing, the company is releasing, they can, means anybody can use it, anybody can copy it, modify it, distribute it. Okay, So there is no need to have a proprietary license or the closed source software. That is the closed source software which we are going to learn now, which means this software we have to buy. We have to buy the license copy. Okay, that's why the software is categorized into two categories, students: the open source software and the closed source software. Okay, open source software, students, we have just now seen that it refers to the software which releases code in public domain for anyone to use. Okay, the code can be copied, modified, or distributed, and it has the FOSS policy, that is the free open source software policy. Okay, and this policy is and has been adopted by many states, and Kerala is one of the states which is in news. Okay, that they have adopted this FOSS policy, and they have saved around 300 crore rupees as a license fee. Okay, for proprietary or closed software. So this is, and we'll just see the types of software which is open source software. We'll just see this. Open source software examples. Look, Firefox, GIMP, LibreOffice. Okay, here it is given that the Firefox is a web browser that competes with Internet Explorer. Okay, OpenOffice, a competitor to Microsoft Office. As Microsoft Office is what, student? It is a licensed copy. Okay, closed source software, and OpenOffice is a open source software. That is, now it has become a competitor. GIMP, it is a graphic tool found in Photoshop. Okay, there are many other, you can say, the software are there, okay, which are open source. That means which is freely available on the public domain, okay, for use to anyone. Okay, then Zimbra is there. Zimbra is what, students? Zimbra is the email, we can say the email software, okay, which is giving the competition to the Outlook, Microsoft Outlook. Look, these are the, yet we have not finished with the closed source, so we'll just see this later on, but you just see the examples of the open source and closed source. Okay, so the open source examples are what, students? Examples. Firefox, then we have OpenOffice, that is a LibreOffice, students. Okay, then we have GIMP, the graphic tool. Zimbra is the email software, okay, for the to have the email, access to emails. Then MySQL, okay, this is again the structured query language software. Then Sun, OpenSolaris, again this is the version, we can say, of the Unix operating system. Okay, these are the different types of open source software. Okay, student. So hope you've understood this, that open source is freely available. That means it is free of cost. Now we'll come to the next, that is the closed source software. The second category, closed source software. Okay, now this, as you have understood, okay, students, from the open source, that if the open source is free of cost, that means closed source you have to buy. Okay, so it is the opposite. We can say the closed source software is the, it is the opposite of open source software. Okay, that means here what we have to do, we have to buy the license copy. So open source software and means that software is used to by the proprietary and has a closely guarded code. Okay, only the original authors of the organization of a software can access, copy, and alter that software. Okay, in case of closed source software, user has to purchase the software before using it. That means you have to buy a license copy. User has to buy or purchase a licensed copy. Okay, it is not freely available. Okay, that's why it is the opposite of open source software. Okay, only the original authors of the organization of a software can access, copy, and alter that software. Okay, students. Now the closed source software, student examples are, you can say the examples. Skype, you have to buy this Skype. Then Google Earth. Google Earth is there. Java. Adobe Flash. Then you have VirtualBox. These are all students closed source software. Adobe Reader. Then you have MS Office. Just now we have seen students that Open Office is a competitor now to MS Office. Because MS Office we have to buy a license copy, whereas Open Office is what be freely available on public domain. Then Windows, MS Windows, Microsoft Windows operating system you have to buy. WinRAR is there. There are many which we have to buy, students. Okay, then Mac operating system. Then you have Adobe Flash Player, etc. Okay, these are the different types of closed source software, students, which we have to buy. Okay, we'll just see the different types of, look here, closed source versus open source. Microsoft Office, this is the antivirus, then CorelDRAW, Windows Phone, iOS, Apple software. Okay, versus Open Ubuntu, Symbian operating system, Linux is there. Okay, OpenSUSE is there, Open Office is there. Okay, Firefox is there, Google Chrome is there. So many are there, students, which is open source. So the difference is what, students? Open source is freely available on public domain. Okay, so the user can edit it, copy it, modify it, distribute it, or even can delete it. Okay, but the closed source is what you have to buy the license copy before using it. Okay, only the original. Okay, only the original author of the organization who has made this has the right to access it, to copy it. Okay, to alter it. Okay, and if anybody else want to use it, they have to what? They have to buy it. Okay, students, they have to buy the license copy. That's why the people are going towards more and more to have the options in the open source software, so that there is no, you can see, the liability to buy that. Means without paying any fee, license fee, a person can have the access to different software as per the need, as per the requirement. Okay, students, so this is the, or we can say these are the two categories of the software: open source software and closed source software. Now after this, students, will just see inshallah and the next lecture the types of software. Okay, types and categories both are different, students. Types of software. Now the software which is classified based on the utility, means what type of utility means the use it has. the application software or the system software. Okay, so inshallah in next lecture we'll study that. So hope you've understood this. Inshallah, until next lecture, stay safe, stay blessed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.